Hi, everybody. This is Cynthia Kane, and welcome to EG101 Composition 1 for session number 3. In this session with our video tutorial, we're going to be doing some library instruction with you and show you various career resources that are available online that will help you complete research for your career essay. We're going to start with our blank tab for Google. And as you probably remember from some previous video tutorials, we're going to go to the library's webpage first via the fastest way, which is www.emporia.edu/library. And you probably already have this bookmarked or saved as favorites on your computer or browser. If not, we strongly advise you to do that. So we're going to do something a little bit different than we've done in previous video tutorials. We're going to scroll down to this link called Research Guides, and I'm going to show you a quick way of getting to a research guide that we have created that brings together all of our different career resources in one place so that they're a lot easier to find. Under Search, all you have to do is click on and type Career. And then go to this link for career resources. And this is a very quick way of going to our research guide that incorporates a number of resources that you can use to find information about your career for your essay. You can also go directly to this link up here, libguides.emporia.edu/careers, and this will also take you to the career resources guide. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one of these resources because it depends upon the career that you're researching. I am going to highlight 4, however, that taken together will probably help you find a lot of good documentation about your career. Now, one thing you're doing for this assignment is finding out a lot of background information about a job or a career. And it's very important to find detailed and credible information such as, is there actually a job outlook for your career? Many careers evolve, and there are careers that were around 10 years ago or 20 years ago or even 5 years ago that don't really exist anymore. So you do want to find out information about the job outlook. You also want to find out if a career or job that you're interested in for this essay requires an advanced degree. Does it require a bachelor's degree as far as college is concerned? Or do you need a master's degree or some other type of certification? What type of salary range can you expect? This type of information is going to be fairly easy to find if you know where to look. So under government sources, we are going to start with one that may be familiar to you. It's called the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And this is sponsored by the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics. So you're getting some good, credible government information about occupations and careers. One reason that I like this is that if I'm not quite sure about the career or the occupation that I would want to research, I can look in different groupings or different categories. So if I were interested in becoming a chef, I might want to click on this category of food preparation and serving and see what occupations might be listed under there. And I can do the same thing for any of these particular categories. I can also look at a featured occupation. It looks like as of this recording, painting and coating workers is a featured occupation for this page. I can browse occupations by those considered to be the highest paying or the fastest growing or the most new jobs projected for the next few years. So there are a lot of ways that I can search in the Occupational Outlook Handbook. I can also go up here though to the search category, and if I'm fairly certain about my job or career that I want to find out more information about, I can just type in that name. So I'm going to do attorney. And notice when I did this, it didn't take me directly to an entry for attorney, but it looks like that's considered to be under a larger category of lawyers. Now, we also have some other related occupations listed here, such as paralegals and legal assistants, social and human service assistants, legal occupations, arbitrators, mediators. So this gives you a good opportunity of exploring some related occupations. Now, if I were to go directly to this page for lawyers, this page is going to give me a lot of information that I might need for my career essay. We have some quick facts. First of all, what was the median pay? What is the entry-level education that's required for this particular occupation? And in this case, this is not too surprising. It's requiring a doctoral or professional degree, so I do need to know about that. What's the job outlook for the next 10 years? It looks like it's growing at an average rate of 4% per year, as fast as average. So it's not faster than average, but it looks like it is at least growing. Now, I can either click on these links here or these tabs. Either one will work to let me know a little bit more about the occupation. What can I expect to do in this profession? What can I expect in terms of the work environment? Mostly working in offices, but some travel might be required depending upon the type of lawyer or legal work I might do. How to become one. This is where we can find out a little bit more information about any advanced or professional degrees, or in this case, needing to pass a state's written bar examination. So I would need to include that in my essay. We've seen the pay, but let's look at the job outlook. And again, this is growing. It's not growing that much, but at least there is still a demand. So I definitely would want to incorporate that in my essay as well. Now, when I go down to the bottom of any of these tabs for the Occupational Outlook Handbook, you know that a lot of databases will give you suggested citations for that resource or for that web page, and this is no different. This is a suggested citation for this entry for lawyers from the Occupational Outlook Handbook. However, I need to tell you, this is not in the NLA format, and this is what you are using for Composition 1. So you could copy this citation and you could paste it into a working bibliography, but you will need to double check that against any online help or other type of aids that your professor or your instructor has given you to see what might need to be corrected to make this into a correct MLA format. So again, please do keep that in mind. I think you'll be able to find quite a bit of information from the Occupational Outlook Handbook, but when we go back up here to Career Resources, that's not the only way that you can find information about careers. The next one we're going to look at is ONET Online. And ONET Online is a little bit different. It's also from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but as you can see, it's going to give you a lot more information. You can actually use ONET to build career explorations and job analyses if you wanted to build a little bit more in terms of that information. ONET Online categorizes many of its occupations in terms of a bright outlook. If you're interested in occupations that relate a little bit more toward a green economy, having a concern for the environment, you could explore occupations that deal directly with the green economy sector. You can browse by very specific data in terms of abilities, interests, knowledge, and so forth. And if you'd served in the military, you can actually find some crosswalks that would match up skills gained in the military to potential occupations. So there are a lot of things that you can do here with ONET Online that Occupational Outlook Handbook may not actually show. Again, I could go up here and I could type in the word attorney, since I'm still looking for information on that. And again, as we saw with the Occupational Outlook Handbook, I didn't find attorneys specifically, but look at all of these occupations. I could go directly to lawyers, or again, I could explore some other related occupations such as paralegals, judicial law clerks, legal secretaries, anything that might catch my attention a little bit more. Let's go to lawyers again. And we're going to get a little bit different information than we found through the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So for this essay, I would definitely use both ONET Online and the Occupational Outlook Handbook because each will supplement the other. This will tell me some different tasks that would be appropriate for this occupation. Now I'm getting into some technology skills. So it looks like I would need to know how to use accounting software, how to use databases, how to use document management software such as Adobe and Microsoft Office, presentation software such as PowerPoint. What are my knowledge skills? So obviously I need to know about the law and government, but I also have to have some customer service skills and personal service skills. Other skills, I would need to be a lawyer, active listening, speaking, reading comprehension, critical thinking. These are all really important details to put into your career resources essay. And I can navigate to any of these up here, or I could keep scrolling. And if I went into details, I could get a little bit more detailed information about how important each of these tasks might be. And as you can see, I've got a lot of information here. Now, there is a link down here to cite this page. And there is, in this particular instance, an MLA citation. Again, I would check that just to make sure that is 100% correct. But in the case of ONET Online, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page and you can generate an MLA citation. So we've looked at two possibilities so far. The third one we're going to look at is Career One Stop. And one part that's unique about Career One Stop is that it is one way of doing a job search by a particular state, if that's something that you would be interested in doing. But we're going to go back over here to careers. So if I go to Explore Careers, I go to something called Career Profiles. And I can go to an occupation profile. Again, just to figure out what might be appropriate and what might be available. Now, this one happened to pop up with rehabilitation counselors. And I like this too, because you can look at questions such as, what's the difference between a career, a job, and an occupation? How do I upgrade my skills? And so forth. I could go back up here to Career One Stop, and I'm going to search for attorney again. And it took me to lawyers, which I find to be very interesting. I would like to learn a little bit more about this career. And there is my occupation profile for lawyers. I could actually watch a video to find out a little bit more about this career. I could also view a transcript of that video. It looks like job opportunities are likely in the future. I have some data on typical wages. Now, one thing to notice, it looks like this latest data in terms of projected employment is as of 2018. You do want to keep that in mind because of the way data changes rapidly. The latest information that you may find about a career may only be from 2018, maybe 2019. That's not the worst thing in the world because, again, data changes very quickly and very rapidly. But that's something you would want to be sure to highlight in your career essay, that your data in this particular instance is current as of 2018. So pay attention to those dates or those years within your sources. Again, what education, what experience do I need to get started in a career as a lawyer? If I need any certifications, I could find those. And again, it looks like I do need that professional degree or that doctoral degree in this field. So I have a few more years of school ahead of me. And we'll go back up here. And I'm sure that you're seeing by this point that each resource that I'm showing you from our Career Resources Guide will give you a little bit of different information. So it's really important to use more than one resource when you're writing this essay. The last one I wanted to show you, among many others here, is something that's called Job and Career Accelerator. Now this one is a little bit different. This is actually a database that's offered through the State Library of Kansas for free. And in order to use the different centers or the different areas within Job and Career Accelerator, for example, if I clicked on Explore Occupations, I can explore things again, such as occupations that are in demand or green economy occupations. But notice that actually it's asking me to sign in or register. This is a little bit different. I didn't have to sign in or register with those other three. But if I clicked on sign in or register, this is actually what you would want to do. You can try the sign in with Google. Many times that will work. However, I would also recommend going over here to register. And the reason is that the new user registration will ensure that you are registering to use this database from the State Library of Kansas. And this is actually what you would need. And you would answer all of these questions, including creating a password, and then you could register. Now I'm going to click back here because in my instance, the sign in with Google does work, but like I said, if it doesn't, then go to new user and register, and you'll be able to do what you need to do. And I just wanted to log in to show you what you can do once you're actually logged in. So now I'm in Explore Occupations. I can browse my resources. I could go up here. And like I said, Job and Career Accelerator will let you do a lot of other things. It will help you build resumes and job letters. It'll help you search for jobs. It'll help you prepare for an interview. It's just a really powerful source of information. So if I wanted to explore in-demand occupations, we'll let that load. And I can search by keyword, or I can explore in-demand occupations by different categories. So there's professional, science, and technical. Remember, I was finding arbitrators, mediators, and conciliators. I was finding that as a relation to attorneys or lawyers as a related occupation. So I could certainly look at that as well. And I could keep going down here. And as you can see, there's a lot of possibilities. There's lawyers. And again, I would need to do this by being registered first. So you see that I am logged in to Job and Career Accelerator. I can watch this video again. And as we've noticed before, this is kind of neat. I can actually compare wages and trends in different states. So let's look at Kansas. And I can look at knowledge, skills, and abilities. Again, what skills, what abilities do I need to have? What knowledge do I have? What tasks and activities can I anticipate in terms of being a lawyer? General and detailed work activities, and so forth. We'll go back over here. Now, again, you're not limited to these resources. We just want to make sure that you are very comfortable and familiar on using all of these different ones to help you get started with finding that reliable information for your career resources essay. Thank you for watching this video. You do have a library liaison for your Composition 1 class. Don't hesitate to contact that liaison for any questions that you have about finding credible information about your career for this essay. As a reminder, you can go directly to libguides.emporia.edu/careers to go to that Career Resources Research Guide and find the links to the resources that I just showed you. But you can also go to www.emporia.edu/library to ask for help online. You can call the reference desk at 341-5207, and you can also email us at librev01@emporia.edu. Do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. And good luck. I hope that you can have some fun with this essay.